Hello, cosmic beings. Welcome to Being Cosmic. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I am so glad that each and every one of you are here. I will be doing a collective message today. So, with that, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And I am doing a um it's called the Jack-o'-lantern spread. It came with this oracle deck. And so it's a specific way to organize the cards, and it goes into an issue or a challenge that you are dealing with right now, and then it kind of deep dives into it to give a little more insight, and it also provides a solution. So, with that, this is one of the few um types of readings where I pre-pull the cards off camera just because it takes a little bit of time to set it up, but I don't look at them prior to. So, yeah. So, there we go. Okay. I also do want to say before we get into it, thank you so much for all of your engagement on the channel. The likes, shares, comments, subscribes, and of course the donations. All of it really does help out. So, thank you, thank you. And thank you for being here. All right, let's get into it. This is the heart of the issue or the challenge. We have zombie and control. This has been coming out in almost every single one of my readings lately. So for some of you, there's a two-part um aspect to this card. One is going to be a need to control certain things in life, and it's actually to your detriment. Then there's the other aspect where you're on the flip side of that, where maybe you're in a controlling relationship. Maybe you have found yourself in those dynamics. It's very it really reminds me of kind of that, like the narcissistic empath or codependency dynamic. So that is something that does come up with this card. The other thing that it can be though is it can be just needing to control certain things in life to feel like you're more in control of certain things. And it can oftentimes be an attachment thing that is not allowing you to really live up to your highest potential or your best life. That kind of thing. So we will see more of what it is. The fact that I went into all of those could be symbolic that maybe um there's some of you on this side of the spectrum and some of you on this side of the spectrum when it comes to that dynamic. So just take it how it resonates. Okay, the hidden issue. We've got the witch, which is the earthly weaver of the world. Okay, I'm being told to read it. So this means that you can weave your own change throughout your life, and magic indeed is afoot. You must understand that you have power and it is real. It may also indicate that others may be threatened by your developing personal power and they may not appreciate or like the changes in you as you grow. Be prepared for this and do not be discouraged. New friends and better opportunities will be attracted instead. Okay, great. We're going to keep going. Okay. The major obstacle is invisibility and authenticity. For most of you, what I'm picking up is that you are on the empath side of the spectrum here. That you have maybe been absorbing energy from other people. You've been taking responsibility for others and their actions and their behaviors when it's not yours to take on. That's we're all responsible for our own journey. And by taking responsibility for somebody else in their journey, it's a two-part thing. One, it puts way too much burden on you. Two, it actually inhibits that other person from being able to start taking responsibility for their choices. Now, what oftentimes will happen is once you really start to step into this energy of authenticity and stop taking responsibility for other people and their journey, a lot of times if that other person isn't willing to look in the mirror and do the inner work and take responsibility for themselves, you're just going to kind of naturally vibe out of alignment with those people. So I feel like this might just be kind of a heads up that maybe what's happening, maybe that's what is going to be happening very soon, and this is just kind of a heads up that you're not doing anything wrong. And allow yourself to grieve those relationships and everything else, but continue to really step into this authenticity, because that is what's going to liberate you. And I just heard that word very, very strongly, is liberate. So really, just continue doing that. This is massive, massive work. So I just got to give you props for that. The main fear, we actually had two cards that came out. So the main fear is hidden talents, which is the night song. We've got a cardinal. And then we've got vampire and emotional intelligence. Hmm. Okay. All right. Let's see. So for emotional intelligence, what this card says is this may indicate you are being drained in an emotional way, basically. This is very symbolic of emotional vampirism, which is the idea of people feeding off our energy and our goodwill and taking advantage of us through manipulation and incessant neediness. So this is also indicating a time to enact stronger boundaries. We need to be very aware of what gives us energy in our lives and what takes it away. We should be aware of needing people to need us and why we invite people like this into our homes, workplaces, and lives, if indeed we have them around us. Developing the emotional intelligence within ourselves helps us defend against this kind of emotional and psychic attack and enables us to foster healthy, equal relationships of all kinds. So maybe part of what's going on is there may be a part of you that knows that certain relationships and certain dynamics are draining your energy, and coming into the awareness of that can be difficult. It can be quite the doozy to come into the awareness that, especially if it's somebody that you really have a deep connection with, or a very like entangled connection with. Um, especially if it's, a family member or maybe a significant other that you've, been in a relationship with for a long time, or, certain friends. Take it as it resonates. It can be a doozy to come into the awareness that these people are actually draining your energy. And the thing is you wouldn't be coming into the awareness of it if it wasn't time for you to be aware of it. You're given awareness of certain dynamics and certain things in life when you're ready to handle it. And so the fact that this is coming up right now, you're ready for this. It can feel scary. It can feel like your entire life is about to change, because it is. And the thing is it's going it by doing this and by really respecting yourself, your own energy, your own journey, your own, I think I said energy, but really being aware of that, and taking it seriously in a way, and saying, no, I'm not going to allow myself to be in situations and relationships and dynamics that drain my energy all the time. That is it's an act of just extreme self-love. And so just continue to do that. This is the type of selfishness that is really good, that's really healthy. There is a healthy level of selfishness that we embody, that we can embody. And that's when it's in a balanced way of like, no, my energy is very precious to me. My self-care is very precious. It's something that needs to be a non-negotiable from this point forward. I want to be in dynamics and situations and environments and in relationships that really fill me up instead of drain me, that are mutually beneficial instead of one-sided. With hidden talents, Okay, so what this is about really deep diving into the self and discovering things about the self that were previously hidden. And so there could be an aspect where you're a little bit nervous to deep dive into that and to uncover some of these hidden talents right now. Some of that deep inner work may be kind of um it can feel intimidating to do that deep dive. And so that could be why this is coming up here. So let's see what the solution is. And this was another one where two cards came out. Okay. So we've got the Skull of Darkness, which is blind spots, and we've got Skull of Flowers, creating through the ashes. All right, so for the blind spots, this is about, okay, so it says we may not appreciate or like certain aspects of ourselves, and yet sometimes our greatest treasures lie within these areas. How many times have you heard a famous artist or people extremely successful in their fields being bullied for being so different, yet it is their very differences from others that make them so powerful? Additionally, all of us at some stage of life have certain blind spots that may cause us grief and trouble. Although we cannot see the issue clearly, it is the repeated patterns of pain that may alert us to them. Symptoms, if you will. For example, the same things keep happening over and over again. We may be betrayed repeatedly, fail at something repeatedly, not complete tasks continually. Peace and pattern breaking can be achieved by doing the work and uncovering our blind spot, or even consulting close, trusted friends or professionals to assist us to see what we cannot. So, this is about really deep diving into the self and looking this really reminds me of shadow work. So this is really looking at those aspects of life that are it's those patterns that come up that we're like, why do we keep ending up in friendships that have this dynamic, or intimate relationships that have this dynamic, or work environments, or living environments, or whatever it is. But it's this thing of like, it will be a similar energy with different people, with different locations, with different experiences, but it's a similar energy. So this is what I think of is it, it's that it's that person who ends a relationship and then ends up in a relationship with somebody who is basically the same person with a different, exterior and a different name, but it's the same dynamic. And so it's that can be very, very insightful when we look at it through that lens of like, okay, what is it about me and my point of attraction and my energetic standpoint that is attracting these experiences? What lesson have I been missing, basically? What is it that I'm being invited to learn about this dynamic? With the other cards here, I feel like a lot of you, this is going to be boundary setting. This is going to be backing off from some of the people pleasing. This is going to be enacting certain boundaries, not taking responsibility for others and their behavior, others and their actions. This is not taking on projections of other people when they project it on you. And so that's where this authenticity really comes in, because by continuing to ask these questions of who am I? What are my morals? What do I believe in? These kinds of things, by really truly getting to know yourself, then when people project on you, you can have the discernment and go, oh, that's actually not who I am. That's actually not how I show up. Even if it was how you used to, when you change that and somebody projects it on you, an example is like a victim mentality. If maybe you did operate from a place of, victim mentality for a while, and then you've changed that, then if somebody says something about, people being in a victim mentality, or they're projecting that onto you, you can be like, oh, actually, I don't operate from that place anymore. That's not mine, that's yours. And you don't have to say that, because a lot of this is going to be an energetic thing. What it is you're just like, oh, okay. And you recognize it as what it is. It's a projection. And that's that person's shadow coming out to project onto you so they don't have to take responsibility for that in their own life. And so it's just an awareness of like, actually, that's not me. That's not mine. Um, so I'm not going to take responsibility for it. I'm not going to take it on anymore. Um, so that's massive, massive work. School of Flowers. I don't think I've actually pulled this card in a reading yet. Let's see. This card illustrates there is a sureness and yet a rawness to creating again, to starting afresh. Sometimes the universe gives us a blank slate to work from so we can build what we really want rather than just settling for less. The School of Flowers celebrates not just a kind of phoenix energy, but an energy of success in full bloom through adversity. Okay, it says sometimes we wish for a life different from the one we have, and that can mean radical change. Sometimes to have that new life, everything falls apart to make it so, and that can be very uncomfortable. We may lose our relationships or they may change. We might lose a job, have to move house or become ill. Big events that lead to a reassessment of the how of our lives. Okay, so yeah, with this, what I feel like is really, really coming in is the solution is going to be um changing changing big ways of how you've shown up in certain aspects of your life. Um, by really changing some of these dynamics and how you show up in relationship with others. And this can be relationships of any kind, including relationships with a job, with a environment, with the living situation. It can be in any aspect. But changing this will really it will cause a lot of upheaval. It can. Oftentimes it does. When you're changing big things like this, um this is changing how you show up in interpersonal connections. So this is big work. And the thing is when you do this, you will find that a lot of people, places, and things will start to um kind of remove themselves from your life. Some of these things are going to require you to initiate some things, maybe end a relationship, something like that. Move locations, get a different job, take it how it resonates. And then some of it's just going to be a natural progression as you continue to do this deep inner work and change how you show up in your life, basically. Certain things just won't be there anymore. They'll just kind of naturally go, basically. And the message there is when those things start to go from your life, let them go. If it's meant to be, it will come back. Okay. What will happen if you embrace the solution? We've got the black cat. Fortune meets opportunity. Know that good luck and fortune will be meeting you promptly. Also, know that your luck will be even luckier if you are prepared to take advantage of every special opportunity that comes your way. So, this is really going to be that, like, that, um, it's one of these things by changing how you show up in relationships or in certain areas of your life. It's wild how interconnected everything is. So, by changing how you show up in a friendship, that can snowball and all of a sudden you find yourself in your dream job. Something that seems unrelated can actually be more interconnected than we think. And so what I'm really picking up is that by you choosing to do this, in choosing to change certain dynamics, it's going to show up in your life in ways that you aren't even expecting. I feel like this is one of those, like, all of a sudden you're gonna start looking around and be like, did I just start embodying lucky energy? And the answer is like, yeah, you did. You put some good healthy boundaries up on your energy, and now those situations that came in and drained you aren't there anymore. So all of a sudden your health will start to improve, most likely. Your finances will start to reflect these changes. It might not be immediate, um, but it is kind of like a byproduct of doing this work, because what you're doing is you're changing your natural set point, your natural vibrational set point. So we're getting kind of into the quantum realm, but the thing is when you really embody that new set point, that new vibrational energy, you are going to start attracting different experiences, different people, and different opportunities into your life. And by you having these healthy boundaries around your energy and not engaging in certain dynamics that have been, very draining, very, misery inducing, it's your entire life, this is one of those things, if you choose to do this work, you'll look back in a set period of time and be like, holy shit, my entire life changed for the better. I have friends around me who actually support me. I have, um, a job that fills me up. I've got these hidden talents are coming up, and I'm, creating again, or, whatever it is for you. But it's definitely massively life-changing energy. So this is really, really good. Like, this is this is big work. I do want to say that. I do want to acknowledge that. This is not, an easy change where you just decide that you're gonna just, start wearing, a jacket of a different color every day or something. Like, this is massive, massive work. This takes time. This is a process. It's not something that is just going to happen overnight. By committing to yourself and to your authenticity and really accepting and acknowledging the power that you have within yourself to change your life, you are going to really come into this place where you're just, every time you turn around, it's just, a lucky day, a lucky situation, a chance encounter that just is so beneficial. And so this is really big work. This is really, when we talk about the healing journey and the spiritual journey and things like that, this is where that really, really takes root by doing this work, because it's allowing you to remove what's no longer serving you, and that makes space to bring in what it is that fills you up, that lights your soul up. Okay, well, with that, I feel like I could just talk in circles about this, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. If this resonates, you can let me know in the comments below. You can drop an emoji as well. That just gives me the confirmation to know that these are reaching who they are meant for, the messages. If you like this video, feel free to hit that like button. And if you would like to see more from me, feel free to hit subscribe. It is free, and I will see you on the next message. Bye.